Hi! Dave here from Dave Examines Movies. This here's my brother Andy. Today I'm going to do a little bit differently. I usually write reviews, but I'm going to do a video review this time. And there's a good reason for that. You see, I originally started doing video reviews when I started reviewing movies, and those didn't turn out so well. Not that you care. I accepted to do a Secret Santa review of, drumroll please, Serenity! So here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little boy with a big future and amazing dream. You see, he wanted to write movies. He started getting involved with movies like Toy Story and Titan AE and that Atlantis movie that was a cartoon. Remember that?
Yes.
And then he started being responsible for such TV shows as Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Angel, Firefly, Dollhouse, and the miniseries Dr. Horrible, not Who.
Not Doctor Who.
And that boy's name is Joss Whedon.
Mostly TV shows that get high praise and then get canceled.
Yes. Well, no, Buffy was on for like 7 years.
Oh, really?
Angel was on for like 4, I think, maybe 5. I can't remember. But then he was also responsible for the Avengers 2, The Cabin in the Woods, Much Ado About Anything, the newer version
Nothing.
Nothing. And any A-class actor now has probably been in one of his projects, and if they haven't, they probably wish they were.
Most of his actors have been in at least 2 of his projects.
Usually nowadays, yes. Yes, and one of his projects, of course, was Serenity. And Serenity was based off of his TV show Firefly.
Y'all got on this boat for different reasons. But you all come to the same place. So now I'm asking more of you than I have before. As sure as I know anything, I know this. I am to misbehave.
Captain Mal Reynolds, played by Nathan Fillion, is the captain of a spaceship known as Serenity. Reynolds and his colorful crew can be seen as a form of cowboys in space, performing bank robberies and shooting off 6-shooters, but on spaceships. When the unpredictable psychic on the ship, her name is River and she's played by Summer Glau, escapes from some kind of testing facility with her brother, we learn that she was brainwashed or controlled in a way that can be turned on by a bell of sorts, turning her into psycho killer mode, so the crew must keep a keen eye on her while they escape from a bounty hunter and a cannibalistic race known as Reavers. Leave it up to Joss Whedon. Leave it up to him to take a dead show and make a movie off of it.
This is a show that had very little viewers, and they had to cancel it, and yet somehow he was able to get the funding to make a movie?
I don't understand it. They couldn't even get an entire season.
I know.
This is the whole series of the show.
Plus, it's only, 14 episodes, and 3 of them weren't aired on TV, and they weren't aired in the right order either.
Was it 14 episodes?
Yeah, I believe so.
Since it was ended, it got a huge following, kind of like Arrested Development. People loved it and they asked for a movie, and Joss Whedon delivered. For some reason, 14 episodes warrants a movie, while over 200 episodes and 10 years of Friends doesn't at all warrant a movie. So, I think that's just partly Joss Whedon for you. You can definitely tell Whedon's involvement in this movie, even though this is one of his earlier movies. Because whenever you get a Whedon movie, you get comedy, a very special, unique quality of humor that is Joss Whedon.
Good chemistry between the characters.
Really good chemistry between the characters, and what's really important to realize is with Whedon, you get unpredictability. Like, anything that has to do with Joss Whedon, you have no idea what he's going to do. Is he going to kill off the main character? Yeah, probably. I don't know. Who knows? Or maybe he'll just throw in one of his old characters. I don't know. Maybe Buffy will show up in Serenity or something. Whedon's just completely unpredictable. That's the thing. But he does it in a good way. He does it in a way that everybody likes. When he did his older movies, like the fourth Alien movie, I think it was, and he wrote it and everybody changed it to a point where it was not his creation at all, because I don't think anybody at this point could handle the god that is Whedon.
Right.
Visually speaking, I think the movie was actually pretty darn good. The ship feels like a ship.
I'm certain that Joss Whedon had to have had a small budget considering the low popularity of the show. So, even the show itself had pretty good visuals, but the movie just brought that up to a whole nother level. And
he had money off of Buffy.
Right, but I'm pretty sure he still has to get... He doesn't use all his own money.
But anyways, visually speaking, I really liked the graphics. The ship was awesome, felt like a ship. There was a really cool continuous shot in the very beginning of the movie.
They had to rebuild the entire Serenity sets from scratch because they didn't have those anymore from the TV show, but I thought they did a really good job bringing them back. I believe they had like one whole set for the show, and then they had to destroy it and bring it all back for the movie, and they did that one continuous shot showing that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I like the ship. I like the alien ships as well, and I really like the atmosphere and look of each of the planets that they go to. Makes every planet look like it's a different place, that it wasn't just shot on Earth, and they all have a different, unique look and feel to them, and I actually like that. I think they could have had some help on the CGI in some different respects. Some of the animation, I think, could have been a little bit better. I don't know. It was pretty good for what it was, but obviously it's not perfect. But when it comes down to TV shows that are turned into movies, there are usually these questions that pop up in your head. Since Andy's pretty fresh on the show, he just watched the show and the movie, not too
the first time this year.
For him, it was the first time. Yeah, I've seen the movie like 3 times now.
Actually, I've seen the movie. I saw the movie back when it first came out, because you guys...
Can you watch this movie not having watched the series at all and understand what's going on?
I think the goal was to do that because they did do some recap, but I don't think it really works without having seen the show. I think that's part of the problem they had.
I disagree, because I was looking for these different things. You probably just watch it straight through, right? You're like episode, movie. Yeah. But I was actually looking for different cues to, if you could watch this movie as a sole project, and I think that they actually did a good job. They introduced characters, told what's going on in the movie. They told a little bit about the past. They introduced each of the characters and talked a little bit about character development, especially with River, and had a lot more to talk about the Reavers as well.
You just don't feel as much of a connection, I think, when you watch the movie without having seen the show, to the characters. I think you can understand it without seeing the show, but
it would be better if you actually saw the show.
For me, I didn't see the show when I saw the movie. It wasn't anything
okay,
special.
So here, the second question is the movie itself at least mysterious or good enough for you to want to go back and watch the show?
A movie on its own, I don't think the movie convinced me to watch the show. I think all the fans on the internet who constantly talk about Firefly convinced me to watch the show.
Well,
as well as Netflix recommendations.
When it came down to like Star Trek, I did feel an urge to go back and watch the original series. I watched the unaired pilot of Star Trek, and it sucked, but does the... Okay, after you watched all the episodes and the movie, I know there are still fans out there that want the show to come back. Do you feel like, oh man, this is great, the movie's made everything, changed everything, they should bring it back? Do you think they should bring it back?
I would be happy to see them bring it back, but I don't think it needs to be brought back.
Everybody's got their own projects that they're working on now.
Yeah, everybody's
everybody's
working on something else, and I think the movie brings a sort of closure to things. There's still more that we could see of these characters. There's more that they could bring to these characters, but I don't think they need to. I think, without being, I can't say some things because it would be spoiler.
And the next question is, having seen all the episodes right before you watched the movie, did the movie satisfy unanswered questions? Did it have what you wanted to see happen in the movie?
Yes and no. Some characters, there were some characters that had questions that I didn't get the answers to, and we got more satisfying answers on River, which I always wanted.
There's a lot to do about River in this movie, and it's really well done.
Throughout the entire series, you're like, what in the is this? And I think they give you some answers in the movie, which I think was good. I wanted to hear more about the Reavers. We got more about that. So yeah, there's definitely a lot they answered, and I think the movie works, is a lot better once you've seen the show. I think I rated it a lot higher once I've seen the show.
So is there anything unspoilery that you can say that you would have liked to see specifically happen in the movie that didn't, or something you would have changed?
It's hard for me to say without spoiling, because it has to do with some stuff.
This is a kind of a movie that you can't talk so much about because it spoils not only part of the movie but part of the show.
Yeah. So, let's just say that there was some character plot lines that I would have liked expanded more on, but I understand why they didn't, and you know, it would have been nice to know more, and I think we would have known more if the show had gone on longer, but the movie takes place something like 6 months after the end of the show, so there's time frames in there that they could potentially expand on. I don't know if there's comics or books or whatever that maybe I haven't read that might explain some of those things, but
maybe. But you're not going to read anything.
But I think the movie...
I think the acting was awesome. As with usually anything Joss Whedon does, it's pretty cool to see all the actors, because years after Firefly has ended, all these actors have been doing other things. Alan Tudyk, I don't know how to say his name, that might be right.
It's close.
He's on Suburgatory.
Nathan
Fillion is on Castle. Is that still going? I think her...
No, Marina Baccarin.
Yeah.
She's on Homeland.
She's on Homeland. Summer Glau in
Terminator.
Yeah, the guy from Chuck. You see all these characters in a bunch of things. You watch anything Joss Whedon does, and you're gonna find actors that you've seen before. Thor guy. Good movie. A lot of... You should watch it if you've seen the show. You can watch it if you haven't.
I would recommend watching the show.
I would recommend watching the show. I think the people who are going to enjoy this the most have to be people who love Joss Whedon. Because if you love Joss Whedon, you can pick up on the things that he does. And you can enjoy it more instead of being confused by what's going on. I don't think there's anything in this movie that just expects you to know, because it does try to go back and introduce you to all these characters again. But yeah, it's a space western. So it's cowboys in space. That's pretty much it, really. I think it's geared toward a specific audience, and that was the fans of Firefly. I don't know how much it's going to affect people nowadays if they're not a fan of Firefly. I don't. I don't really know. I mean, unless you're just a big sci-fi nerd. Yeah. This entire series, including the movie and the show, is on Netflix.
Yeah.
And if you're like on Hulu Plus, I think it's on there too. The whole thing. I mean, I'm saying the whole thing like it's huge thing, but no, there's 14 episodes in a movie.
Yeah.
So the whole thing.
Well, the first episode's 2 hours long.
Because I think it's decent for anybody. I think it's great for fans. Do you have a rating on it?
I do, but I have to pull it up.
You should pull it up, because I have a rating for it. I'm just gonna wait. What's your rating?
My rating is 79%.
79%, which you have at, you said 4.5 stars for those of you that like out of 5 stars. Mine was at 76%.
Right.
I agree with your rating. I think mine was just like, I'm trying to put in everything like for a general audience instead of like
Right.
somebody who hasn't seen the show. I'm trying to get to everybody who can possibly watch this. I think in general 76%. And that's a rent for me. That's not a buy. Like you shouldn't just go out to
I would say
store
if you're
and buy
a big,
it.
I would say if you're a big fan of Firefly.
Oh yeah, if you're a big fan of Firefly, and if you just love anything that Joss Whedon does, hands down, buy it.
Yeah.
But for me, like, from all of his series, Firefly wasn't really on the top of my list. Like, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And
I don't think Firefly got enough time to really become something great. It had, like, for me, the first half of the season was like, okay, this is interesting, and then the second half it got really good, and then the movie expanded on that. But I think if they had more time, it could have been something much better. Like Dollhouse got a little bit more time, and I think it became something pretty good too. But it was just really short, and so I don't think it got enough time to do what it needed to do.
When it comes down to his series, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I love Angel. I actually love Dollhouse. And I love all his movies. I am a huge fan of the Avengers. I'm a huge fan of Cabin in the Woods. I haven't seen Much Ado About Nothing, but I plan to see that at some point. Serenity, Firefly, it's kind of downer. Downer. It's not as high as on the list as the rest of them are, for me. I do like the comedy in it. I can definitely see Joss Whedon in there, but I don't think I'm like a huge fan of the show. I do like it, but I don't love it like I like the other ones. Like IMDb has it at 79.
Oh.
Rotten Tomatoes has it at 82% fresh, and the audience generally likes it at 89%. People love it because, well, the people who are going to watch it and rate it on these sites are obviously biased a little bit, and it's going to usually be a little higher. Go check it out, see for yourself if you like it. And follow me on my site at daveexaminesmovies.com, and you can follow me as well on my Facebook page. You'll find that at Dave Examines Movies as well, and you can contact me through there or comments on my site. That'd be great. Tell me if you like the video reviews, because it's been a while. Peace out!
Peace out.